many Dougs could a Dig Dug dig if a Dig Dug could dig Dug? It's... Oh crap, I forgot the name. It's... a Tip Tom for the original Game Boy? Or is it Flip Fred, or... Oh! Dolores! Alright, so Dig Dug doesn't rhyme with a part of the female anatomy. Listen, nobody cares, Malva. Get out of here with your physiology. Doesn't matter to Dig Dug, he just blows monsters up with a bicycle pump. Wanna argue with a guy like that? He blows monsters up with a bicycle pump. And you know, he's seen the bomb, he's well aware of the bomb, he's digging all around them, doesn't care. Prefers the bicycle pump. Besides, bombs are too quick. You can't savor all the little emotions. You see, in its last moments, Fygar shows you who they really are. So in a way, Dig Dug knows these Fygars better than the other Fygars ever did. Because he blew them up with a bicycle pump. So, Dig Dug is, no question, one of the greatest arcade games of all time. And one of the weirdest, too. I mean, the whole concept's just... it's freaking weird. You're like a subterranean monster exterminator, only the monsters can also dematerialize and move through the solid ground. Oh, you're also a sick motherfucker, because in addition to using the bike pump, you also lure the monsters beneath rocks, and you squash them and watch them die. I can't tell if this is a video game or a torture film. Anyway, do the monsters have a point? Does Dig Dug deserve it? These are questions this game never answers. And if you bring them up, Dig Dug does something terrible to you and your family. But we do know one thing. Like Donkey Kong and BurgerTime and a surprising number of arcade greats before it, Dig Dug also makes a great Game Boy game. In some ways, it's even better on the go. So the cool thing about this version of Dig Dug is that it's actually two versions. It's got the original arcade game, but it's also got a new version. Shocker, it's called New Dig Dug. It's actually the highlight of the entire package. In fact, it's a lot like Donkey Kong and BurgerTime because it takes the trademark gameplay of the original and actually adds to it. And in a way that works. So you're still digging underground and torturing monsters who may or may not have ever actually done anything to you. Only this time, that's not the only thing you have to do. Each level has 3 keys, and you have to collect them all to unlock the door and move on. In fact, speak of the monkey, that part feels a lot like Donkey Kong on the Game Boy, and it works brilliantly within the context of Dig Dug. But you know, I think the real highlight of New Dig Dug is the level design. I mean, it's way more interesting than the original, because it kind of turns them into puzzles. And actually, that's another thing that reminds you of Donkey Kong. The level design is faithful to the original, but it's also way more creative. I mean, I actually had more fun with New Dig Dug than the original, and its puzzle-like approach and cool new twists are the main reasons why. I'm not sure how he'd take that. He's always so serious. Seems like a nut job. Hey, speaking of jobs, the Game Boy does a bad one, running Dig Dug. It's one of the drawbacks with the Game Boy version. You do get slowdown from time to time, which can be an issue. And the controls are a bit sticky, a bit slow, which is another issue. Actually, so is the screen size. In the arcade version, you can see the entire screen, but on the Game Boy, you have a much smaller window. Now, of course, the trade-off is the presentation. The sprites have this more defined, cartoony look in this version, which I really like, and the music and sound effects are great too. So, as good as the game's design is, the presentation's not bad either, especially for the Game Boy. You know, I really think one of the coolest things about the Game Boy is that arcade games fared really well on it. I mean, the NES got arcade games, but a lot of them were underwhelming. You know, they were either limited ports or they had stuff taken out. But for some of these games on the Game Boy, it was the opposite. Stuff was added. In fact, some of them were arguably improved on the Game Boy. New Dig Dug's one of those games. And for that alone, this is a great cartridge to add to your collection. It's Dig Dug, the torturous monster killer for the original Game Boy. So whatever you do, don't make Dig Dug angry. You won't like him when he's angry. Sick bastard.